So Claude Design has made it so that we as accountants are now artists. And I say that because now we can create so many different graphics, presentations, animations to be able to take things that are traditionally trapped in spreadsheets and actually be able to give them some life and be able to communicate them better in many ways. The other thing that Claude Design has really unlocked is it's allowed firms to be able to promote themselves and market themselves in a way that really fits their brand. Not only does this help them be able to look better in many ways, but it actually helps people that you want more of to actually come knocking on your door by being able to actually tailor your website, your blogs, various other content to be specifically able to find these folks. So let's jump into Claude Design right now. You'll see right now that we're actually on the web app. And so whether you're using this on Google Chrome or another kind of web browser, you can come over to the left over here and you'll see Claude Design right here. So you can click on that. And so we'll click on that and then we'll get to the Claude Design web app. Cool. So now we're in the Claude Design web app here, and we're gonna just kind of jump in and see that there's all these different templates available. And we'll spend another video talking about how you can set up design systems, which is basically making sure that everything sits within your own template, your branding, and that like anyone on your team can be able to use that and immediately kind of fly through in creating one of these different projects. But we're gonna just start with the basic project right here. And you can see here, just similar to like Claude Chat and Claude Cowork, you have the different models that you're able to use. So we're going to just be on Claude 4.8 Opus right now, but there's also the Fable 5, which has much more so you can take a look here and you can see that there's the models available. Similar to Claude Chat or Cowork, you're able to kind of toggle through something for quicker answers, maybe quicker kind of pamphlets, or maybe you just want a quick still, you can use something like Haiku. And if you want something much more complicated, you can something like Fable 5. We're going to use Opus 4.8 here to show kind of some of the examples. And what I'm really excited about is you can basically talk to it similar to how you would be talking to chat, be like, hey, I'm wanting to come up with, and what we're going to work on here is actually taking something like financial statements that you might be sending to your client on a monthly or quarterly basis. And let's actually make that into a really great presentation. And that could lead to maybe an advisory presentation. And so we can have Claude Design here help us kind of put together how that presentation will look. And then using Claude just the chat to be able to bring out the insight. So I typically use Claude Chat on one screen and then Claude Design on the other, and feed the information from Claude Chat into Claude Design so that I can actually come up with the great graphics. I actually don't really spend too much time speaking to Claude Design and trying to get the insights out. One reason is because Claude Design uses up way more credits faster than Claude Chat. So just be careful of that. And then maybe we'll just even take a second to test it. So I'm coming up with financial insights in a presentation format, and I want to put in the financial statements. Can you tell me how to do that? Right now, I just did something where I asked Claude Design to come up with financial insights in a presentation. You can see that my typing isn't perfect here. And it actually comes back with a form. And it requires the information that you need, so which is really awesome because you can actually upload the financial statements here. It asks you who the presentation is for, what period did this cover, what should the insights emphasize, what full statements. So I think the really cool thing that we're going to do here is actually upload the financial statements from Shopify. And so I'm going to go here, click upload, go to financial statements. I'm uploading the financial statements here from Shopify's quarter. And what I'm going to say is it's actually for an executive leadership team, and it's quarterly. And I actually wanted to, let's just see if it can do all of it, right? So I wanted to talk about everything, and then which full statements should appear. I actually wanted to see just summary highlights, no full statements. And I actually want it to be 5 to 7 slides. Let's make it really short and sweet. Let's be real. Sometimes we send these financial statements to our clients and they don't really open it at all. So let's start with a shorter deck, and then hopefully they're kind of excited by the insights and are asking us for more, which would be great. how chart heavy should be. I want lots of charts. I want to keep this very visual. So let's do lots of charts here. Tone of the copy, let's make it confident and polished. And our company name, this company name is Shopify, and they are an e-commerce platform. Please show me and compare to other e-commerce platforms and have some benchmarks. So we just put this in here, and you can see that it's going in here and creating a design system. And because I don't have any design system templates here, it's actually creating everything from scratch, which uses a little bit more tokens and usage. I wouldn't worry about that, about hitting that right now. Let's maximize just kind of learning and making sure that we understand the capabilities that Claude Design can do. And then once you have put in your templates, your branding, you can be able to then kind of standardize more things. But I'll let this kind of run here. The other way that we could have done this if you wanted, because now it's using a lot of tokens because it's actually kind of synthesizing, going through the document. I'm going to quickly switch back here. So here I'm back at Claude, just the regular chat on the web app. And I can just go to new chat and I could say, hey, I don't even know why I keep saying hey. I'm just using up tokens for no reason. I want you to take this Shopify quarterly financial statements, bring out the insights to put into a 7-slide deck, and I want to present this to the senior leadership of Shopify. I will be using Claude Design. And here's a trick. And this works because Shopify's branding and everything is pretty public, just given it's a public company. So I want this presentation to be in Shopify branding and format. Do research to find those and give those instructions to Claude Design. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just upload the financials. So you could pull this from QuickBooks, Xero, wherever your accounting ledger is, and just feed it into Claude. Caveat, we're on the Teams plan right now. Shopify information is public anyway, but if you're using any private information, just make sure you're on the Teams or Enterprise Business Plan. This is Sonnet. I'm actually going to turn this to Opus because we wanted to do a little bit more detailed analysis on the financial statements. This is a quarterly report, so hopefully it's not too bad. If this was, say, an annual report, I might just, Opus is more than fine, but I might just use Fable just to see if it could even kind of push it even more and get more insights out of there. So what this is doing now is it's just a similar Claude chat that we've chatted about so many times. It's probably what you've been used to. It's going in and it's bringing out the insights. But the difference here is it's actually creating a prompt and instructions for Claude Design that you can just copy and paste into it. And so this is usually what I do when I have Claude and I want to be able to design something, but I also want to do the analysis while I'm trying to design stuff. So you can kind of do it simultaneous to a certain extent. What's really cool is you actually notify yourself when Claude is actually done. This is going to take a little bit more time. So I can just click on notifications here and it'll kind of allow me to do notifications, but that's fine right now. I'm just going to wait and see. Look at this. It's actually what's taking a lot of time. It's actually going onto the web and looking for Shopify's different brand, and it's getting all the different hex codes here. It's just incredible how quickly you can now make sure you tailor something specific to your client to make them absolutely delighted and make them honestly feel special at the end of the day. And this is a power that AI is able to do where now things don't have to be generic. You can just prompt something, go grab a coffee, go for a walk, come back, have something that's so tailored to your client. Just make sure to review it, obviously, especially with things that involve numbers, but then you're coming to them with something that's much more personalized. A lot of business owners have anxiety as it comes to their numbers, especially for businesses that might not be doing so well. And so being able to tailor things, whether it's even just having a friendly branding that reminds them of their company, allows you to have much tougher conversations and be able to ultimately provide more value to your underlying business owner. So as this is going, now it's designing me a design brief. All right, so now we're going back to the version of the presentation that we created where we just use Claude Design to be able to do some of the analysis. And this one we did all within Claude Design. And you can see here on the right-hand side, it's kind of showcased Claude the report that Claude's created. And so there's Q1 Financial 2026 Insights for Shopify. It's really cool because they use the green color that it probably knew because Shopify is a public company. And so it was probably able to kind of guess that. And it has some of those colors in the financial statements as well. So it was probably able to use that as well. And it's pretty impressive. Like, obviously, this could have been longer if we wanted to have more slides. And so you have it talk about the basically a snapshot right at the front. This is where you want to double check your numbers. There's really cool ways that you can use Claude to be able to actually review against itself as well. Sometimes we recommend using other models, and you can be able to put this in ChatGPT to double check. But I would just say many people probably don't have a million subscriptions for LLMs like we internally in our team do, just because our engineering team uses Codex to review our Claude code. And so there's all these other things, but I just realized for accounting firms, you probably only have one subscription. And so what you want to do is you want to maybe put this in, be able to go through each section pretty quickly, and then to be able to find ways that it could be helpful. Okay, so let's take a look at the report that came out of just Claude Design and just being able to prompt in it. So we didn't do any deep analysis using Claude here. We just, as a recap, went there. We just asked it, we just uploaded the financial statements after it asked for it. So it created a form, put in everything that the form asked for, and it just kind of shot this out for us. And it's actually pretty incredible. It kind of showcases revenue. This is something that you take onto a meeting. It has it in Shopify's colors, which is really cool. It's showing revenue growth and mix here, which is great. Profitability, operating leverage, all important things. Balance sheet and liquidity. It was able to go in and figure out what the current ratios are. You can also have that calculated. So in this one, because Shopify is a public company, I'm sure they had these ratios that were noted somewhere in the quarterly document, but you can actually have it. And this is the thing that I actually kind of told it right at the bottom, the comments. I wanted to compare it to its industry peers. And so it kind of compared it to Wix, Squarespace, not necessarily competitors, because those are they do have kind of Shopify stores, but there are other bigger competitors out there. But you could also obviously prompt it with giving it more of its correct competitors. And you can see here just really good revenue metrics that it probably was able to pull from the internet for these companies as well. Caveat, you want to just double check the sources there, because this could just have been pulled out of thin air or could have came from a source that isn't really credible. Lastly, it ends off with just forward outlook and takeaways. And I really love this. I'm going to just kind of zoom this in a little bit more in depth here. Awesome. Probably should have done this from the start, but you can see here trajectory. They have really strong growth in the high 20s, and seems like they've gotten some equity investment recently. Really strong operating income that's nearly doubled. 476 million of free cash flow. Wow, what an amazing time to be Shopify right now. And so this is something that honestly would have taken me probably like 4 hours, if that. And that would be like kind of working in flow. This could just now be done in minutes. And then you could come in here, review it for say 30 minutes to make sure the numbers are correct, and be able to have something very tailored for your customer. I want to now go back. Now I want to go back to the example where I actually did Claude Chat to do a lot more research for me. This is typically my workflow where I actually go through it, and this allows me to double check the numbers. And so what I had to do is create a senior leadership deck that you see here, and it's got Shopify's branding color that I was able to pull all from online. And it has typography, which is incredible, chart styling, and then it has kind of the slide by slide what we want to showcase. So they pulled all this information from the quarterly report that I uploaded, which is pretty incredible. And it actually has an insight line. How cool is that? This is also me just not giving it any examples on what a good presentation would be. If I gave it an example of a presentation and say you've been doing this for a while, the presentation will only improve and improve, and it will only be more consistent as you give it more examples. So this time I didn't even give it any examples. I just gave it the financial documents and kind of told it to create 7 slides here. So now what you can do here is you can actually copy all this. Cool. So now we copied it. We go back to Claude Design here, and we'll just paste all of this in here. So there's a lot of text in here. I'm still on the Opus 4.8 model. You can see that this prompt is a lot more detailed than what we originally posted when we were just working with Claude Design. This might take a little bit long. And I'm really excited to compare it to what we just saw before on the presentation, where it just used the financials and just that form and information that we filled. So this is a lot more detailed analysis. What's really powerful is a lot of times we would just take these financials and just send it off to the client. And now where it becomes is, how do we personalize it to a certain level where the clients feel that these numbers are really for them? Sure, they knew that the financials are coming out of their QuickBooks or Zero, but this goes beyond just closing their month end and just sharing it. This goes into the insights they're looking for to be able to either rapidly grow or be able to conserve cash because it might be a tougher time in their business. And what you're doing is basically giving them a lifeline and guide on how they can continue running their business. And so I'm looking at the screen right now. What's really cool is you can actually see it being worked at the same time. So I know this is going to get to 7 slides, but right now it's showing me a teaser of around 3 slides. And so maybe I just don't want to ruin the surprise too early and go through it. So we'll let it continue to do its magic. But I think I want to just go back to like why I think Claude Design is something, probably one of the more exciting parts for an accountant's kind of arsenal. Traditionally, we've been seeing AI tools help with advisory in terms of analysis, things that we were already doing in spreadsheets that we're able to do a bit faster. But now we're starting to see AI do things that we traditionally were never doing. How many firms do you know, especially on the smaller end, a lot of firms that we work with between, say, 1 to 10 million in revenue, that had the time to create customized presentations with their branding and being able to pull out insights? Like, it just didn't make sense for the amount of time that you put in for the amount of value that you were maybe charging. Now you can also be able to find and unlock ways that you can increase your value through these presentations, and then ultimately be able to charge for that. Because at the end of the day, it's not the presentation that's the most valuable part. It's the fact that you're helping this business owner unlock some bottlenecks as it relates to their numbers that will help them get much more revenue. So even if, say, you're charging them $1,000 more a month by being able to provide these insights, if that's ultimately bringing $50,000, $100,000 more business to them, it's kind of a win-win. You put a kind of a dollar in and you're getting way more dollars out. And so that's when it becomes a much more easier kind of conversation to say, hey, this advice, this strategy that I was able to determine with your numbers that we were able to unlock has actually ultimately helped you build your business to be even better. All right, so this Claude has just presented us with financials. It's quite different than the one that we saw before. I like how it has like the 107 billion at the back. I actually don't know what that number is. Maybe it's the market cap of Shopify. I'm not sure. Actually, no, it says, yeah, global market value tops 100 billion. So that's probably it. You can see that it's used its coloring. It definitely doesn't have the actual Shopify logo here. So it's something that you can add, and they can actually add the proper logo, but we didn't provide it the logo. So it's not going to be able to find that itself. So we shouldn't blame the AI for that. Let's just jump through this. This one's really interesting. I actually don't really like this format, but caveat, this is something that you can always change. This one had these things over here, and this probably gives us an excuse to go to this edit, and you can start editing actually the things in here. So it's not really one shot. Like, you can actually go in here, change these numbers if you wanted to. You can make this a lot smaller if you wanted to. You can resize all that. I can just like play around with this. I'm not gonna, and so I can just be able to like format this. So don't believe that just because you didn't get it the first time, you can't go in and edit it. It's still saving you so much time at the end of the day. I'm just playing around with it here. Here's all the things over that you can just kind of adjust: the centering. You can change the font size, the type of font. So many things around here. That's great. I'm actually going to go here and you can see more. I'm actually going to get out of edit mode. I'm just going to save that. Make sure to save it. That's like one mistake that I've been making in Claude Design. I'll make all these changes and then I'll go to share up here to export it into PDF or into PowerPoint, and then I'll forget to save it. So actually those changes haven't been made. So pro tip there, if you go into edit, just double check to hit save. You can see here that it's talking about the merchant solutions is powering 34% of top line. Really cool insight there. Subscription revenues broken down to merchant. collections, talking about, you can notice that this one went into much more specifics than the last one because we had to do a lot more analysis. Caveat, I'm going to be honest, I don't think the formatting of this was that great. That's also probably because we focused so much on making sure that the typography and the colors of Shopify, and we didn't really go into the specifics of like how we wanted that presentation to be framed. Versus the last one, because we were going through Claude Design's kind of form, it kind of had a better template in place. This one, we had to give it more prompts to get a template. That's what we're talking about, where the design template feature becomes much more handy. So you don't have to make so many changes after it kind of spits out an output like this. And this is really interesting. So it goes into specifics of the fact that they had a net loss, but it's non-cash. And let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, it says it's equity investments. Oh, that's why. So basically, Shopify did a bunch of equity investments, which brought down their cash. So that makes sense. Like, that's not something that their core business has to do. And so the business itself is still highly profitable. First of all, like, how cool is that the AI can basically determine that? When I was an accountant working in investment banking, like, we would actually like sit there reading all the footnotes, trying to see how companies were trying to be sneaky in different ways and hiding things. And that's where you get stuff at like adjusted earnings and all these different things you have to add and take out. And now the AI can just go through and at least take a first pass of where things are and how you can normalize things like earnings or cash. That's super exciting. What's actually really cool that I didn't realize is there's actually speaker notes right at the bottom too. So if you were to actually go into an actual meeting, so cool, it's already kind of done, and you just gotta make sure that everything there is exactly what you want to say. Debt free, it's kind of going through these specifics. So a lot of the analysis I was gone through this. So if you have like already some advisory notes that you've already gone into your clients with, and you've probably gotten good feedback, you can put those into your Claude chat so that it actually pulls out that specific analysis that you do. So maybe it's a lot of things around inventory because you're known and you're specialized in bringing inventory insights. You can make sure that the Claude chat pulls that up so that it shows up in your presentation. So I'm going to end it here. I'm just like so excited about the power that Claude Design has brought in terms of taking all these numbers and actually making them visual and allowing people to get kind of financial clarity as it comes to such important factors of their business. And so if you have any questions, just let us know. I forgot to mention throughout this video, and so I'll record this now so that I can like kind of put it through the video, but we have it kind of all of this summarized for you, how to use Claude Design step by step. So you can just either go through it by yourself or give it to a teammate to be able to follow. And we actually have top 5 Claude Design prompts that you can put in to help you kind of set up how to set up your branding, how to set up templates. So all of that will give it to you for free, which I'm really excited about. So you can find the link below, or you can just say Claude Design. And if you mention that in the comments, we'll also be able to find. So if all this was helpful, you actually can just get it all in a PDF that we have free in the comments. You can just get our Claude Design for Accountants PDF. It comes with step-by-step of everything we walked through today, and also the top 5 prompts that you can use in Claude Design to help you set up your branding, help you figure out how you can set up design templates. And so we're giving away all that for free. Just link in the comments where we can just be able to, where you can just download that. Link in the comments where you can just download that right into your inbox. And then if you have any feedback on use cases or ways that you think Claude or Claude Design or Claude Code, Claude Cowork, there's a tongue twister in there, can be beneficial to your firm, feel free to comment there. We'd love to be as helpful as possible for you and really appreciate you tuning in.